Mrs. Old Farmer and I are at the age that we should stop climbing around like monkeys. In my youth, the few times I have fallen, I bounced, and being in my youth, bones were rubbery, where at our age, our bones are more like fine crystal glassware that will shatter if you look at it too hard. Maybe it's about time to stop crawling up onto the second-story roof to clean gutters. This means we need to find a gutter product that will protect from leaves and other foreign objects clogging up the gutters. After studying the many processes for covering and protecting gutters, we had leaf protection placed on our gutters so that we no longer have to worry about cleaning them. I'll do a talk on the process and why we chose leaf filter for protecting our gutters. Leaf filter does not know I'm making this video, and no consideration was given for this video. These are my opinions and mine alone. Hello, anyone. I'm Scott Bain. They call me the Old Farmer. Mrs. Old Farmer, Marty, and I have been looking at a gutter protection system for some time. The main requirement is that if we install gutter protection, we will not have to clean the gutters ever. If that cannot be accomplished, then if a company wanted us to put their gutter protection on our gutters, I will offer a generous package for them to do so. In other words, they pay us, not we pay them. It's wasting money if gutter protection cannot keep the gutters clean. And in some cases, the warranty mandated that they had to be the ones cleaning the gutters. It's a barrel I refuse to be over. Voiding a warranty if you cleaned your own gutters, which if I had to do, means I don't need their gutter system. And yes, there are companies and warranties that require the company selling gutter protection to be the only ones that may clean the gutters or void the warranty. So instead, I voided the companies. As far as I could find, the only gutter protection system that did not need cleaning after installing is leaf filter. Let's take a look at some of the systems that would not work outside of laboratory conditions. The systems that stream water over the gutter opening and then drizzle water into the gutter might work in Arizona, but not in the areas of the country that actually deal with heavy rains. And if it's windy too, it will keep the water from drizzling into the gutter, and along with drizzling water into the gutter, if the water is pulled into the gutter, it will probably draw in anything small enough to fit through the opening, such as twigs, seeds, and insects. So as cute as these designs are, they will not work most times. And when they do work, they are filling the gutters with more than water. In other words, it will work great in the laboratory, but not out in the real world. Not consistently. That's why if these companies wanted their product on my gutters so bad, they would have to pay me what they would expect I would pay them to install a defective designed system. And of course, it would include free cleaning for the next 50 years or so, transferable to new owners. When I first saw a leaf filter back in the 30s, not the 1930s, my 30s, I thought they had the right idea for protecting gutters. They use a system that holds a screen with small enough holes to allow water from most rainfalls to pass through the screening. They have under the screening, when I first saw the product, I think it was aluminum and now vinyl or PVC type structure that supports the screen, and it's built something like a kitchen colander for passing the screened water into the gutter. It has framing to hold the whole thing together tight against the gutter, and will be able to have a new layer of shingles added to the roof without having to remove the gutters. And if for some reason the gutters need removing, they have a process for doing this that will not damage the gutters or the screens. Dan and Desiree gave me a little piece of the leaf filter so that we can take it apart and take a look at how it's made. This looks to me like it is surgical steel, like stainless steel. That it looks to me like it's surgical stainless steel that you would find in shunts. This is what the sales rep said, that it's surgical steel, and they use this stuff in shunts. It looks like possibly, is that a single layer or is that just folded over? I think that's just folded over. But look at the weave on that thing. See if I can get this as close as I can. Okay, here we go. This is the weave. Can you believe that? Not very much can get through there. I don't even think that shingle grit could get through this. Maybe a little bit, but you're talking cornmeal wouldn't go through it. Flour would. That gives you a little bit of an idea of what it's like. And that just slides into this track. Okay. Now this looks like a vinyl or PVC plastic. Well, whatever it is, it's not going to rust. And I would imagine that it's set up so it can take the UV hit from the sun. Take a look at it this way. Okay, the screen would sit on it like this. And there's little points on it that will help draw the water down through the holes. But see, it's kind of like a colander in the way it's made. So the superfine screen, which sits like this on top, only in the track, blocks the superfine stuff. Could a rain overwhelm this system? Yeah, it could, but it looks like it would have to be a pretty good storm to overwhelm. And in that case, as strong as a storm would have to be, even if you didn't have it on there, chances are your gutters would be overwhelmed. So what they do, I guess they just slide this. Maybe they do it this way. Put it in like this. But both sides has the fold on it so that you don't have any of this harsh end on it to cause any problems. It's easy to slide in. And the way that it stays in place is they fold it under like this, and then the next piece would butt up.
Leaf Filter is a Michigan company that services the whole country with a factory in Michigan. The warranty is lifetime for everything except the silicone caulk that seals any seams. They clean the gutters, realign your gutters, add additional supports to strengthen the gutters, and take photos showing what shape the gutters were in before they clean them and after the system has been installed. Most of these home improvement companies will offer 6 months the same as cash. In 6 months, you pay monthlies or pay off the total amount of the project, minus any down payments. They typically use a third-party loan company. How this works is they pay a fee, maybe $1,000 to the loan company, so that they can offer this package. That means, and the fee is based upon the amount of the loan to the loan company, they add a large cushion to cover this fee to give the illusion of free interest for 6 months.
For most folks, that's no deal at all if they knew what was happening. And it's not a nickel and dime cost either. And they don't deduct this hidden fee for this interest-free loan if you pay cash, unless you use a bulldozer to move them. Today, unless a hustler is out to steal your money and not provide what was promised, the legitimate companies will find ways that cost nothing or very little to inflate a perceived added value and then make it sound too good to be true. They provide what they promise and offer a good warranty too, but at 10 times the cost of the product, including installation. To provide a good warranty costs a lot of money. This is why Harbor Freight does what it does with warranties. I asked for a small piece so that I can show you what it is. I'm thinking for material costs, $2.50 a linear foot. That's how I do it, material costs. Now I add factory costs for producing the product. For normal production, I use a 1.25 multiplication factor to cover the cost of operation and give what a good FOB price should be. That comes out to somewhere around $3.13 per linear foot. My cost per linear foot was $33.34. If it was offered in a retail setting, it probably would come out somewhere around $12.52 a linear foot, while offering the same level of service. The salesman was trying to get me to pay $36.59 per linear foot for the whole house, which had 205 feet of linear gutter. It took me about a half hour to finally convince the salesman that it's not the quality that's the issue, it is only the price point that I'm finding unacceptable. I could put the same money into investments and from the dividends get my gutters cleaned twice a year. And I would still have my money without depreciation from the product sitting on the roof. So he lowered the price to my price, and we signed the papers. Now let me tell you about the folks who installed. They impressed the daylights out of me. And I mean during daylight savings times, no less. They treated the job as if they were doing it on their own house. They treated every aspect of the project gently, while doing so a heck of a lot faster than I could, even in my 20s, my age, not the 1920s. And they gave me a small piece so that I can show you the product. They didn't have to do this. We're here with Dan and Desiree, and these are the installers they're the ones that put the leaf filter on the gutters. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, we've been doing it about 3 years now.
And you've been installing all along before that, and you just 3 years?
Yeah, I did siding and gutters for a long time too. And then we seen an ad in Craigslist or whatever, and we answered an ad because we were looking for work. We needed some more work. And one thing led to another, and it was a recruiter for leaf filters. We went and talked to him, and, we weren't too sure about it because, you just don't know about these things sometimes, And so we say, all right, let's go in and try it. We'll give it 10 days. See if we can actually do this. So we went in and we started making money right away. So we were like, oh yeah, this is going to work because they want you to buy a bunch of tools up front.
Oh, okay.
To do what their product needs to be done, So after we tried it for a few days and realized we were going to do it, we went out and just spent the money and bought all the stuff we needed, so we could put it up the right way and
here we are.
Yeah, it's been great. I've loved it ever since. It's a great company to work for.
Do you like the product?
Well, I love the product. The product's second to none on the market. We have taken off a ton of different, leaf guard stuff or whatever. And, compared to all that, this is hands down
the best.
I mean, there's really no comparison between this and any of the competitors, really. So,
well, looking them over, and I've been following them for a few years, of the different designs out there. Some of them look like they would work perfectly in a laboratory setting, but not on the house.
Right.
Yeah.
You're throwing some wind and some ice and some leaves,
Yeah.
and then you got a problem. But with this stuff, it seems to, it's like they tested it and made sure, and they kept tweaking the product as they went. You know what I mean? Like when they figured stuff didn't work quite right, they'd tweak it a little bit, make it a little bit better, and make it a little bit better, and make it a little bit better, And
Well, I'm sure you've had to go out and do some repair work. Has it been because the system failed, or is it because of wind damage or branches falling?
Yeah,
or?
usually it's a branch falling, something like a bird's nest,
Yeah.
a branch falling, or foreign objects hitting the product, causing a screen to pop out, which is the worst thing we've ever had to do. Replace some screens. Out of all the repairs we've done over all these years, the worst thing we've ever had to do is replace some screens.
It looks like it's surgical stainless steel screening on there.
Yeah, it is.
High quality
It is.
screening on it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I never seen a rusted screen. Never.
No.
I mean, the only time we ever had a problem was when something hit it or the birds dug it out. You know what I mean? And then you just got to reinforce it a little bit, and they won't get back in again. So.
So you've been doing it for 3 years too?
Yep. It's actually my first job that I've had ever. I'm a stay-at-home mom usually, so it was pretty interesting getting started in something like this from being a stay-at-home mom.
This must be hard work. I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it definitely is way different than I expected it to be. It's a lot of work.
Well, I'm impressed with the quality of the work that was done installing it, and the dedication to the sweating the details, making sure that everything is done right. It's as if you're doing your own house. That's the way that I see you doing it.
Absolutely.
So you have to take pride in your work, or what's the point of doing it?
And that's kind of the way we think of it too, is like when we're going to a customer's house, we're going to try to do, or we're not going to try, we're going to do like we would want done in our house, to the same thing on the customer's house. That's what we always say too.
Well, you achieved it here, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
It's people like this that I would hire if I ran a business and pay them more than what they were getting from Leaf Filter. In other words, I would steal them from Leaf Filter. It wouldn't matter that they would have to be trained. It is the integrity and effort to do the job right the first time. You can't really train for these qualities. Oh, sure, you can take someone new and do some impressing and explain why this is important, but if they don't have it in their gut, it would become an annoyance for them that they would try to skip. People like these could be trained to maintain an automated plant if need be. So I wanted to give a nod to these two installers, Desiree and Dan. Leaf Filter, they are better salespeople than the man you had selling it in the first place. They believe in the product because they install it, and when an occasional problem occurs, they've had to fix it too. They know the strengths and the weaknesses in the product. Well, you heard what they think about Leaf Filter. So in the end, what do I think of Leaf Filter? To me, it's a good product. It will do whatever they say it will do with very few asterisks after their name. But if you're interested in buying Leaf Filter, rent an attack dog to guard your purse. Maybe 2 attack dogs. Before we go, it's important to quickly mention for all who are visiting to subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, and share with friends and family. Now for the most important part. Thank you to those who have subscribed. Thank you. And yes, thank you to those who are visiting. We value you too. We're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers so that we may receive a pittance from YouTube to cover expenses. We replaced 1 camera, tripod, and bought a water-cooled editor for video production, plus all the tools we review. So if you could help us reach that 1,000 subscription point, thank you. Well, this is the old farmer Scott Boehm. Be well, be safe, and be kind to someone.
Don't forget to click like and click subscribe on the Old Farmer YouTube channel. And thanks again for watching. Bye.
The VFW National Home for Children, providing families of veterans and active duty military opportunities for growth and development in a nurturing community. Please consider a donation to help their children and families. I.C. Rhodes speaking.